What's up, YouTube? It's Yemi here again from SwingTradeFX. I know it's been a minute, and that's why I'm here with another beautiful video for you guys. And today's video, I'm going to be talking about two things. Basically, number one, the chart structure and understanding. I get a lot of messages from my direct Telegram on chart structure. If you're new to this channel, I've dropped a video on chart structure a couple months ago, and if you have been on this channel for a minute, it might be of your interest to actually watch the last video as well alongside this video to have a proper full knowledge of how the chart structure works. As we go into this, I want you to sit back and enjoy yourself. So let's go. Yes. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the chart structure, and I'm going to be breaking it down. Hopefully someone learned something today, and I'm very 100% sure that you won't find this anywhere, and you're going to find it only on the SwingTradeFX channel. And that's why you should like, subscribe, and share to all your friends, who you care about in your Forex journey. Before we get into the chart structure video, I would love to talk about answer a question that many people have been asking as well, which is most people seem to really put a lot of energy on news impacts in trading, on news release in trading. I remember I got a couple messages last week about news trading, and most people seem to have this natural anxiety and panic for news because of what you've probably heard in, when you get into the forex market, that, oh, when it's time for news, you have to close out, you have to do this and do that. But I'm here to tell you and give you a contrary view to the news trading. And I will tell you exactly what I use the news for. I use the news to my own advantage. As a technical trader, you really do not need to bother about the news. And let me give you a relative example. Think about the news, all right? Think about the news, or think about the market like a car, okay? The car needs the petrol to function, right, to move. And think about the news like the nitro gas that you attach onto a car. What does the nitro gas make the already moving car does? Makes it moves faster. So the impact of the news on the market is, it is just a catalyst, right? The news makes movement to an already established direction faster. That is it. So if your natural move without the news could take you 4 hours, probably when the news release is out, it could take you 15-20 minutes. So start to change your mindset about the news from the thing that you have to fear in the market and use it to your own advantage, right? The news is just a catalyst that helps, the move in the market to go faster. Always think about the example of the car and the nitro when you're thinking about the news. So start to change the perspective about the news. Every good traders, every good technical trader loves to use the news to their advantage, and it's time for you to start having that reorientation. And talking about the news, it's always good as well to actually use a trusted news outlet where you can get the real-time data, right? And for me, I make use of the fast bull market. This is the fast bull market, fastbull, www.fastbull.com. It gives real-time data, right? Some of the things that many traders suffer from is they go on website that give them lagging information of the market. But I can tell you for a fact, this is something I've tried and I've worked, right? The fast bull market is going to give you that access to these data as they're released before they impact the market like real quick. Also, one thing I love about the fast bull market is the kind of information they show on the economic data, right? Of course, it has the actual release, it has the forecast, and it has the previous data, right? That helps you to keep track of previous information. But there's a very beautiful feature I like on this, which I could not find on any other news website, which is the impact, right? What does the impact does? The impact gives you the real-time data of the impact of the news on the pair that it's got to like impact the most. So let me give an example. So we go to today's 14th of November. Let's see news that has been released. Now we have a news on the Australia zone right here. All of this news, right? You can see up on this news release, it gives you the impact it's going to have on the AUD pair. Let's go down again. Let's see some other one, right? Look at earlier today we had the pounds make a move to the upside, right? You can see it's because of the UK unemployment rate that came out positive. And look at the impact on the pounds market. The advantage of this is it kind of help you to keep score and keep track, of the impact of all of this news on the market. So if you're watching it today, you know that, okay, the employment rate was bullish. It brings us out to your natural or your conscious awareness, right? So definitely when you're looking out for this trade the next time, you can always remember, right, the impact on the last time. They're not just giving you a figure, but they are giving you an impact. So aside from the figures and the data, it tells you like the actual impact on the forex market or the particular pair upon which the news has been released. So I definitely recommend the fast bull market, right? So let's get back to what I was talking about. All right. So how do you use the news to your advantage? It's very simple. Right now, as you guys know, I trade the pounds JPY alone. And I want to show you how we can use the news to our advantage in real time. So one thing I would love you guys to see is that the pounds JPY is on a daily resistance, right? So your natural sentiment will be that whatever is happening in this market would be that maybe the market might be rejecting because the market is completing a resistance area, right? And you know what happens during a resistance area? You have a potential, keyword potential effect for price to move down. So this is the moment where you kind of identify it out, right? So your sentiment has been built, already by the reasons of this, but you do not act on the sentiment. You want to go down to see, what the market wants to do. So going down to the lower time frame, you kind of have the last low right here. And you want to go down to like the lower time frame, like the 1 hour, like 30 minutes. What do you want to see? You want to be able to connect, you want to be able to connect the structures of the markets, and want to know where's the last structure, right? You kind of have an information of the last structure of the market. So you can imagine when the market gets to this point, give us some kind of like exhaustion and finally breaks. Now when the market breaks this before any major news on the pounds or the Japanese yen comes out, what do you think? All you got to do is you've entered this trade based on your technical trading, right? Or your technical analysis. It's easy for you to enter this trade, set your stop loss behind the last high, and any news that comes out of the market this way, very sure it's going to impact the fall of the market to the downside, right? So it's not far-fetched that when you go on the news and you see the impact and how this news have been dropped timely, it's not far-fetched. You're not surprised for the fact that the market is moving your direction, right? So in this case, you are not using the news to decide. You are only using the news as a catalyst, which is an added confirmation, and it allows the market to move your direction very fast, right? So this is what I'm going to say. And I hope for everyone, I promise to give the answer on my next YouTube video. I hope you are clear about all of this. So let's go into, what we got to do today, which is the chart structure. If you before we get into that, if you need more information about the news, you can actually enroll into my masterclass via the link in the description. You're gonna find my Telegram link right there. You can text me directly and I'll get you enrolled in. Also the link to the fastbullmarket.com, you can always find it in the link in the description. Make sure you go through the website. They have a very amazing interface, and definitely you are going to find some of the best and high frequency news and high impact news with the right guidance, and dropped timely right on the website. All right, so let's move on to the order of the day. Many people ask me about the chart structure, and I will bring advantage on that into your understanding. For me to be able to get that to you, let's go on the whiteboard real quick. Let me give you guys some lecture before we bring it into the live example. There's something I love to tell you guys, that the market moves, prices, right, moves in what we call the fractals. And what do I mean by prices moves and fractals? It means that within a big structure, there's actually smaller structure that formed the big structure. What do I mean? So let's say this is on the daily time frame. Okay, within the smaller time frame, you're going to find maybe the 4 hours time frame, you're going to find smaller structure that made up the big structure. Okay, you're going to find smaller structure that makes up the big structure right here. Okay, and within that smaller structure, you're going to find possibly like the 1 hour time frame, which is even a made up of smaller structure that makes up the big structures, right? Something of this nature, and it goes on and on onto the lower time frame. Okay, so what is the significance of what I just explained right here? That means that understanding of the major structure of the market and the minor structure of the market as a key in your profitability. Okay, so most people just go into the market and they see the market move and they just go ahead and identify structures just like that. No, sorry, is actually not the best way to trade. So what do I mean? When you are analyzing the market, you should be able to ascertain what structure the market is moving in. So let me give an example. Let's say, and I'm going to show you a live example, and I'm going to use this understanding to bring you guys into like the live chart and show you guys how it's being done. I'm not going to talk about how the market structure changes. You should go to the previous video I've recorded. You can find a link above, right? You can see how we structure change from maybe a bullish trend to a bearish trend. There's always something that changes right in the market, which I explained right there. But the point today is I want to bring the context of structure and using the structure to your own advantage to finding high probability trade setups in the market. So for example, this is the daily structure, right? So the daily structure is moving at a higher high, higher low, probably at the area of 61.8 Fibonacci, 61.8 Fibonacci, right? Now, having a knowledge of the structure and the fact that there are smaller structures on the lower time frame that makes up the bigger structure gives you an advantage to find trade opportunities, right? So let's say, for example, I'm going to use this black to indicate maybe if this was a 1 hour. So let us tag this red as the daily structure, okay? And then let's tag this black as the 1 hour time frame structure. All right. So what do we have right here? We have market moving on a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and the market got to this peak right here. Okay. So what do you think happens on the lower time frame, right? You find a change of structure right here. And this in itself has given you a trade entry confirmation. Now, when this market is going back, right, on the daily time frame, on like a retracement before it continues to move up, you have at the back of your mind that you are trading a retracement on the lower time frame, right? And then your take profit on the lower time frame gets to a point like this. And what do? You ride this move down to this point. Simple. Very simple, right? And when the market gets to this point, what do you expect? What do you think is going to happen in the market? It's very simple. From the move that the market is giving right on this point, now you can go to your higher time frame. You can find out the fact that, okay, this is the 61.8. All you got to do is wait again for the structure of the market to change. And you can see now that you're in the direction of the trend. And what happens? You can be able to ride this move and keep riding it back to this level and even above back to that level where is in the direction of the structure. And the same thing goes on and on and on and on in this market. This concept that I've shown you is enough for you to be profitable. If you do not analyze the market with another tool, this concept is enough for you. So you need to understand that the forex market and prices within the forex market moves in structures, in different structures, and these different structures happens to occur in different fractals, right? And what do I call a fractals? A fractals mean if this is the degree of the movement of the market on the 4 hours time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to indicate that with the red. On the 1 hour time frame, you do not expect it to move in that same wavelength. It probably will move in a wavelength like this, in a wavelength like this, in a wavelength like this, which will open a lower time frame trade opportunity, right? A wavelength like this. This is what you should expect on the lower time frame. So because on the lower time frame, we are able to find a change of structures at specific areas, gives us opportunity to be able to ride a trade either in the direction of trend or against the direction of the trend. So it gives you context and it helps you find meaning to what you're going to be doing in the market. So that being said, let us go back into the live chart so that I can show you guys an example. So this is the GBP I want to use the same knowledge and I want to apply it into the live trading. Okay, so let's use the same knowledge of the market. Okay, so as you can see, we're on the daily time frame. So the first thing you want to do is to get the context to which the market is moving. It's very simple. For you to be able to get the context, you go back to where all of the moves started from. Okay, what was the move that started, right? The market started, the market made a push. Hold up. The market made a push right here, right? Start to move on the lower eye, and you can see all of these are lower eyes, and price broke it right here, and price came back to this previous area of support, turned into resistance. Then what happened? The market went back right here and it started to break. And all of this move that led to the market getting to this move started from this point. So what you want to do is very simple. We want to be able to bring out the structure of the market from this low right here to this high right here and have an understanding of it. So let's bring that out. So simple. First, you indicate where the market was coming from, and you indicate where the market has gotten to as the peak level. So let us bring that out. So we have it. Here we have it. Now, what does this does for you? It gives you an understanding of what you're doing. So let's bring it out with the support. And right here we have the resistance. Naturally, this brings simplicity into your trading. So the next thing you want to do is you want to identify the structure. You have the high, you have the higher low, high, you have the higher low, you have the high right here, then you have the higher low right here. Then you've got the high right here, the higher low right here, and the price is right here. So what is the major structure of the market? The major structure of the market is this is the last higher low right here, and this is the last higher high right here. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to be able to identify where was the last major higher low, right? So you have the last major higher low right here. This begins to make sense. Now, why the market is being traded, right now we have an understanding of the last major lows and highs in the market. What is the next thing you want to see? You want to be able to understand the structure in between the lows and the highs. Simple, right? So let's look at it together. I'm going to use the red line to demarcate that out. So what do we have? We have the higher high. As you can see, we have the higher low. We have the higher high right here. We have the higher low, and we have price made a move into a lower high structure. And ever since then, price dropped. Okay, so the next thing you want to be able to see now is let's look at the structure. So apparently we have the last high, we have the last the minor structure right here, okay, right here. And when the market picked up right from here, what happened? It started to make a move. So what do we have right here? This is not the time where you want to bring your Fibonacci, you want to bring your support area to, okay, where was the support? So first of all, we have some sort of like, you can see we have the Fibonacci area right here. At the same time, it confluences with the area of support, as you can see. So we have an area of support right here of the inner structure. So let me bring it out again so that you guys can understand. I'm going to use the black line to identify the major structure that led price to where it is right now. And I'm going to use And then we have this low and we have this high. Then I'm going to use the red. I'm going to continue with the red, right, to identify the inner structure. So what do we have right here? We have the high. As you can see, we have the low, we have the high right here, then we have the low and we have the lower high, right? And the market made a move to this level, right? So in this case, I'm going to change this to like maybe like the blue color so that we can understand that this is a mini structure, which is not the most significant structure. So we're going to use the gray line to identify the most significant structure, and we're going to use the blue line to identify the minor, the medium structure in between. So this is already making sense, right? And what happened when the market got to this point? It started to assume another structure. Can you see the price went back to this previous area of support, turning into a resistance, and then find a higher low right at this point, and the market start to move up. That is the information we want to need. We want to know. So we are working with the minor structure that says higher high, the higher lows, and the high right here. And what happens right here, lower high to this point. Okay. And what had happened right here, the structure continues and now change direction after reaching this support level and also the 61.8 level, and changes that structure. So one thing that I want you to figure out right here is that the most recent structure we're working with is actually the inner, which is the medium structure, which goes back, to hit the major, big structure. So you can see how we're breaking down the market structurally. So on the 4 hours time frame, what does it look like? Very simple. On the 4 hours time frame, what I want you to be able to see is, you can see it right here. So now we're not working with this big structure anymore, which is the one that started from this low to this high. We're not working with that anymore. So we're working with a smaller structure that happened in between them. So what do we have right here? We have the higher highs, the higher lows, the higher highs, right? Then the higher lows, then the lower highs, and all of this right here to give us the lower low. And you can see all of this right here to now give us what we call the higher low, and price started to move. So all of this structure went back right here and started to move, right? So apparently we have an area of higher low right at this point. Now, can you see how I'm using the knowledge of structure to actually tell a story of what I led the market to where it is right now? Because if I'm able to understand the story, then I can be able to create opportunity for myself. So for this right now, we now have the high low right in between, right? We're still gonna label it with what? The blue. Now, what happened? Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this point. So now that we have let me redirect back. So now that it seemed that we have a support area and the market reaching out to this area and higher low, and the market has been moving up, we can see that we now start to have a new structure right here. So in this case, I'm not just going to use the red, right? I'm going to use another color, maybe like the green, to identify it. Apparently from this higher low, price started to move on a higher high. Can you see higher low, higher high, higher low, and high? So this is the most recent structure from this higher low to this major high. So now if you're to interpret the structure, you're going to say that the market is finding, right? So if we're going to interpret the structure, let's go back to the daily time frame, that the market is moving on a daily time frame structure, right, which has its last low and a high right here. And ever since then, the market started to move on a medium structure, which was indicated by the red, to changing direction and possibly finding a new higher low right here and changing the direction of the market. And ever since the market changed the direction, the market has now been moving on a 4 hours time frame, higher highs and higher lows. You can see the transition in between those structures, right? First, it started with a major daily structure, which was indicated with a black line, right? And we had the daily lows and now the daily high, right? Now, in between the daily high, what do we have? We have a situation whereby price started to move on the medium structure, which was indicated by this red right here and right here, right? And after the price found a higher low, then we saw that since the price started to move on this, if we look at it clearly on the 4 hours time frame, we have the higher high, higher low structure. That's all we want to see. So you can see the transition of the market, right? In the sense of it went from a daily bigger structure and it went back to, a 4 hours structure. So we kind of have an understanding that the market is trading between a 4-hour support, right, thereby forming into a 4 hours time frame trend, and it's now moving into what the daily high, right? This enough is the information you need to be profitable. So how do we make advantage of this information, right? Now that we have the 4 hours time frame, higher highs, the higher lows, the higher highs, the higher low, what do you want to do? You want to go back down to the 1 hour. So you have an information that the market is reaching this high point. So on the 1 hour time frame, what do we have? It seems more like the structure is way now bigger, right? Because now we see the higher high, the higher low, the higher high, the higher lows, and all of these are the higher highs right here, and higher lows, and now we have the higher highs, right? So one thing that caught my attention is the fact that the price is moving on the high side. And where's the last higher low of this market? We have the last higher low right here. Notice how we've not really done anything much technical than using the knowledge of chart structure to break down the market. Okay, so ever since the market started moving on, the higher high right here and the higher low, notice how the market started to move on a straight line within a smaller structure too. So this smaller structure, we're going to identify it out. So let's take it down to the 30 minutes time frame. So on the 30 minutes time frame, what do we have? That means that we have a last higher low. So for this, I'm not going to use the gray, so that we understand that this is the movement of the market, because all of this structure, this is the last higher low, and all of this structure started to happen on a higher high, higher low. So we're not going to use the blue for this color. Let's use a different color so that we can be able to understand when we're coming back over again. So for this, I'm going to use, let's say, the green. Okay, so now we can see clearly from this spot right here that we now have the market moving on a higher highs. As you can see the higher highs right here, the higher lows, and this was the last higher high, this was the last higher low. So it kind of gives us an idea that now the market is bouncing off what seemed to be a 4-hour time frame, higher highs and higher lows. So our goal now is to look at the most recent structure leading into this point right here and find a trade opportunity based off of that. So what do? We go back to our 1 hour time frame. Do we see the structure clearly? I could see the trace of the structure. The market make a gap right here. So for me to draw that structure, I'm not going to use the green. Let me use the blue color, right? So we have the higher highs, we have the higher lows. You can see the higher highs are higher low, the higher highs and the higher lows right there. So let's go back to the 30 minutes time frame to see what we're doing properly. So on the 30 minutes time frame, we have look at the most significant structure right here: higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher highs, and higher low. Now, what does this tells us? This tells us that the market is moving between the 4-hour time frame higher low and the daily resistance. So that means that the daily resistance, if it's going to hold and give us a change of chart structure, which I explained in the first video on chart structure, right? What happens when the market wants to break, right? The last low, gets validated, then you can have a sell. So if we can find the same exit thing right here, as you can see, the market is still reacting. That means no trade yet. So this is the last low we're looking to invalidate, right? If the market can come to this low, probably go back, give us this and finally break it. What do you think? We are going to be selling because the force of the daily resistance is stronger than what has been pushing the market, right? So we can have a situation whereby the market will actually be giving us a fall. Then we have areas to consider in the market, which is the previous area of resistance and support, right? That means if the market activates, you put your stop loss to where your entry point and see if the market is going to break you. If the market breaks this right here, then we can have a sell. And just like that, using nothing but understanding of structure, you can see how I've been able to successfully break down the market. So let me bring back your mind into everything we've done so far, right? So every color represents different time frame. Now look at it, right? The first, which is the gray line right here. Notice how the first, which is the green line right here, we identified our daily higher low and daily higher high, right? Then we identified that we had a structure in between the daily higher low and the higher high, which is what the higher highs, the higher lows, the higher highs, the higher lows, then the lower high, which formed this end around this area of support and 61.8 Fibonacci. And ever since then, price has been moving on a higher low, which was the reason why we identified this higher low. And ever since price started moving on this higher low, right, we came to the 4 hours time frame, and we saw that the 4 hours time frame was moving in a spectacular structure, which is the higher high, higher low, up until it gets to this point. So that was the reason why we identified the higher low and indicated the higher low. Now, when we came to the 1 hour time frame, we're breaking the structures down little by little, right? We saw that this was the last higher low and the market was touching all of this zone right here. So that means that after the market touched this level, we used our blue color, the market started to bounce up off this level, and ever since then, what happened? The market was moving on a structure. So our goal is to understand this most recent structure on the left side, and if we can find the violation of the structure as explained in my first chart structure video, right here, then we can be having a sell down, and we're going to trail our stop loss accordingly. This is what most people do not understand in forex trading. Most people do not have an understanding of how to use chart structure to their advantage. Most people just see a random higher highs and higher lows. They never dare to ask themselves question: is this structure on the daily time frame? Okay, maybe if I break it down to the 4 hours time frame, am I able to see smaller structures? Oh, perhaps if I break it down to the 1 hour time frame, am I able to see smaller structure? And just like that, you will have all the information you need. At the end of the day, the trend line, the support and resistance area are actually tools that we use to actually amplify specific highs and lows within a given structure. So when it's all said and done, everything that you need to understand in forex trading is the knowledge of the structure. I hope this has helped anyone watching. So I recommend that you watch this video and watch the other video, which is the first chart structure video, for you to have a full understanding. And if you find yourself still wanting more, you can subscribe to my one-on-one mentorship or my masterclass to have a full structured knowledge of how the market works. And believe me when I say that the market really, really do not actually need you to understand just the technicalities part of it. Most of what you need to understand in the market is actually the simple things: ability to tell a story of where the market is coming from, where it is right now, and making those prehistorical information, using those prehistorical information to actually predict the next potential information based on confirmation. And what is the confirmation that we have right here? We have this right here. Okay, so this is what I want you guys to learn. So thank you guys so much, and I hope someone puts this into practice. If you have any question, you can ask me directly via my Telegram. My Telegram group is going to channel. It's going to be in the link in the description. And I wish you guys, the very best, and see you guys in the next video. Thank you.